Hello, I'm Michael Love Dice, and here we are back at the Monster Spawner. I've given up on elevators. I've been trying to make elevators all morning. Go home, bat, you're drunk. Yeah. The elevators not work. Tutorial's awful. Redstone irritating. Redstone is so annoying. I keep forgetting how annoying Redstone can be, and how difficult it is to debug it and work out what is going on and why things aren't working and all that kind of stuff. So I have made entirely too much smooth sandstone, but I'll think of another use. Oh, also I've got some gunpowder on me because I got creepered in the middle of all this. I was busy trying to make something and it just creeper blew it up. It's like, grr. So, rail. I'm just going to make rail because I know that works. So I don't have to be clever about it. I know rail will work. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a spiral that goes up. Let's have it 4 on the side. Before I do, yeah, well, actually, let's check. I'm going to have to check a thing because I don't know. Rails are not quite as annoying as redstone, but they're quite annoying. I don't know if that would work. So I may have to do I may have to do corners not quite the same way as I was just. Corners may have to be a bit wider. Right. So I've got a minecart on me, so let's try that. Thank you very much, minecart. Thank you for that. Thank you for your cooperation. So I'm obviously going to be needing powered rail if I'm going to be doing this. Right, so okay, that does not work. That's fine. Good thing I worked that out early on. Actually, well, I can in fact get rid of those, but that's not. Oh, I didn't want to get rid of that one. Gather those up. So it's going to be 4 on a side, but when you go around a corner, you have to do that. That is okay. That I can cope with. And then I go up. Yeah. And so then I will go around like that. Then I'll go up too. So it's not going to be quite 1-to-1 because you can't actually go around a corner. Like that. Is that right? Yeah, I think that is. Yes, that's right. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to. I'm only going to be going up like 3 every 4. So if I was doing a wider spiral, or if I just did the whole thing, but that would be stupid because you'd be starting off all the way down there or something ridiculous like that. But you know, while this is somewhat inconvenient and is going to require a lot of block placing, before I put blocks in the wrong stupid place like that. At least I know this will work, whereas making the redstone thing happen, I mean, that was really tough. That sun's coming down again. And the other problem with doing it with the redstone with pistons and that is that apparently on multiplayer servers it is quite common for them to not function. It's to do with the way that because we've got more than one person on the server, and that can cause any kind of lag at all will just cause the whole thing to break. So let's go down. I'm actually vaguely tempted to plonk down rail as I go up. Certainly when I'm heading down, like at the end of the day, as I'm doing now. Tempting to put the rail down and then like use the rail as I go down. Why did I do that? I wanted to right clicking on the chest does not get me into bed. That did not help. Anyway. Yeah, okay. I'm looking at it, it's like, that's a bit ugly. Not a lot I can do about it though. Right, so on we go. Now the other thing I'm obviously going to do is decide when and where I am going to be powering, because some of these rails are going to be powered. Yeah, which ones do I want to power? Where do I want to power them? By what method am I going to power them? That kind of thing. It's a question I'm going to have to ask, and indeed answer. So that's a thinking. That's a thinking I'm going to have to do. Looking stuff up on the wiki, it looks like you can do like 8 powered and then 8 unpowered, and in fact that may not. I think that may even be talking about unladen carts, and I don't really care what happens to unladen carts. If someone gets, for some reason, it's a bit weird that a cart with a player in it will go further with a given amount of powered rail than a cart without anyone in it. You'd have thought the one without anyone in it, which would be lighter and stuff like that, would go further, but no. Apparently not. Apparently not. But I don't really care what happens to unladen carts. They can fall back down again or do whatever they want to do. I don't really care. The thing I do want to think about is next stack of smooth stone. What I do want to think about is what is going to happen to the carts when we get up to the top, because unless I have a way of getting down again, which I could just use the same thing and you'll get down again by using the rail. Okay, that's a possibility. In which case, every minecart that goes up also comes down again, which is fine. But if I don't do that, if I have my plunge pool, which is what I want to do because that's more fun in my opinion, then minecarts are going to go up and they're not going to come down again, which means they're all going to start accumulating at the top. And I mean, do I want to manually have to take minecarts down to the bottom every so often? Do I want to have a reminder for people? Please take your minecart with you when you plunge into the pool, and then drop it off at the put it into the storage chest at the bottom. Do I want to have a cunning arrangement by which, because if you've seen any of the minecarts that are around on the server, you end up heading towards a cactus with a slab on top of it, and when the minecart hits the cactus, it disintegrates. It pops off. It gets destroyed. So you get thrown off the minecart, which is great because you don't then have to dismount yourself. And then the minecart actually drops into a hopper, and thus is used for subsequent journeys. Which is great in a rail station. The rail stations that are set up on the server already, then you can have your departure right next to your arrival. So the arrival comes in, pop, and it gets fed through, and so long as people are heading to to your station as often as they're heading away from your station, which is not necessarily the case, you should be fine. But my arrival and my departure are going to be very far away from each other, as in my arrival is going to be down there and my departure is going to be down there. So what do you do? And I'm actually thinking what could be funny and may even work. I'm not quite sure which is the more important, funny or working. What could be amusing is you get up there and you have that thing with the cactus, right? And it wrecks your and your minecart gets destroyed, or it goes back into being an item as opposed to being a block in the world. And then it immediately, instead of being stored up the top, it gets spat out again and drops all the way down to the bottom, where there's some funnels and there's some hoppers down that grab it, and they feed it into the departure system, which seems to me to be a ridiculous way of doing things, and thus is kind of why that makes me want to do it that way. I'm just going to grab that bit of sandstone. So am I about halfway? It might be a bit better than halfway. I'm only going up to the killing floor. I'm not going to go any further than that. So I want to go, turning around. What I'm probably going to do, just from I think what will make this look a bit better. As you can see, I'm having to put down extra blocks. So I'm having to put down an extra block that is not in fact going to be used, only so I can put that block there. And the same again here. And the same again. No, not there. That block is going to be there forever. So I quite like the idea of going back along this staircase and changing all of those extra blocks, replacing them with stairs, so it just has a slightly less blocky appearance. Although I think, because I'm going to be putting redstone torches down in order to power everything. Or there's actually a very cheap version, which doesn't end up having those bright shiny lights, which don't necessarily look very nice. And they would be, you can just put a lever in the right place, and then you flick the lever, and then that then powers whatever you need to power. And that's just a bit of stone. I think it's even cobblestone. I don't think it's actually stone. It's just cobblestone. Cobblestone and a stick, and that's what you need. You don't need to use any redstone for it. So that's a thought for powering. So you have to decide exactly where those go, whether it's redstone torches or switches. Well, yeah, switches, levers, whichever of those I'm going to use. Oh, I'm getting there slowly. Slowly. Very high off the ground at the moment, but I'm reasonably unlikely. I mean, I shouldn't say this because I'll immediately jinx myself, but I shouldn't fall that far. I should only fall a little bit, because there's actually quite a lot. I would have to very specifically fall down that hole. It looks kind of neat, actually. Having said that, I'm entirely capable of doing exactly that. Right, so that's 2 stacks of sandstone. I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to have way too much sandstone. Way too much smooth sandstone for this. Just a ridiculous amount. It's a stupid amount. I don't need that much. Maybe I do. Maybe I do need exactly that much. I wonder if I can manage to get the minecart disposal to go down the central hole. That would be funny. I think that would be good if I could do it, but I don't know if I will be able to. Now, because the advantage of that is, again, I'm not using that much in the way of redstone. I'm just using gravity. hopefully not too complicated. So it would just be a few hoppers down the bottom. You probably wouldn't be able to get away with just one hopper, because an object dropping from this kind of distance. We're approaching it. We're getting there. An object dropping from this type of distance, there's a lot of variation. How well, sun's being set. It can scatter a long way, is the thing. So I would probably have to have a bit of a, you know, a few hoppers, maybe a 3x3 arrangement, something along those lines, to catch it, make sure I grab it. I made an item sorter a long time ago, an item sorter and a storage system. Right, I think it's time to head down. An item, if I'd been clever, I'd have dug a pond down the bottom there. See, that's what I could use the hole for. The hole could be for the falling down, because then actually, I tell you what. The hole in the middle of the staircase could be the dropping pond, so you could drop down the middle. I think that'd be quite neat. I might see if I can do that. But I'm going to go Betty buys. I should really. This area needs to be lit up and needs to be secured. And having said that, I mean, this is just where I started. This is why there's stuff here. I could get rid of all of this and not sleep down there at all. I could just bring everything down here. Put a fence around this lot, because this is my new entry point. This is where you come out. You come out here. So I could secure this area. As you can see, I've surrounded everything by cactus, so that if I do accidentally allow bad guys to spawn around here, this is not. So if I do actually allow, you know, if they spawn there, I can make it a secure area where they cannot get to us. Whether by using fences or whatever, and I don't need to use that little base area that I've been using. That's just where I was. It's not. I don't have any particular attachment to it. That's the thing I need to get used to. There's one of my issues with Minecraft is I tend to get attached to what is currently there as opposed to what actually needs to be there, and this is probably a very bad idea. Right, my thinking is if I get far enough up, I'll just be able to. Oof, and yay, that worked. Bit of a. I don't think health and safety will be very happy with me. They were like, that was don't do that. That was foolish. Check on my armor situation. My chest and my legs could really do with being repaired at some point. All right, where were we? Where were we? We were there. That's where we were. Now we're going around again. Then all I need to do is plonk a whole bunch of rail down. I got a lot of rail from the abandoned mine shaft that I found. But given that we've got an iron farm and trees grow on trees, well, wood grows on trees, we can certainly make as much rail as we want. We've also got a gold farm with the zombie pigman farm, so we can in fact make as much gold as we want, so we can make as much gold rail as we want. I've heard tell that there is some magic glitch that enables you to generate large amounts of non-normal rail. Apparently only normal rail then becomes unpowered, you know, not detector rail. That's the only kind of rail that you have to make or get. You can apparently, I should have to look this up because it sounds very interesting, but apparently you can make rail. I want to go one more. And stuff like that. But we're not going to do. We're not going to need to do this. We've got as much steel as we can, much iron as we want. We've got as much gold as we want. We've got as much wood as we want. So we might as well just make them. Oh, very hot. But I've got like a stack and a bit of rail, nearly 2 stacks of rail. See, I told you it wouldn't fall all the way. Although okay, I've used several stacks of smooth sandstone to get up here, but bearing in mind, obviously, as I mentioned, I'm using extra blocks because I in order to go up, I have to use extra blocks. So I'm going to need approximately, not quite, slightly more than half the rail. See, we're already quite close. Slightly more than half of the rail than the blocks we have used, because I'm not quite going. It's not quite 2 blocks for every one up. You know that every. Yeah, this when I'm doing this here, that's that's an extra bit of rail that isn't going upwards. Nearly there, but I've not got enough to get all the way to the top. Gonna have to make some more smooth sandstone. How annoying. I made like 4 stacks of it. I thought that was going to be well enough. But apparently not. Apparently I need more. Yeah, it looks like. Well, I've been rattling off ages, and basically I've not really been doing that much. Oh, I've gone wrong. I've gone horribly wrong. This is a terrible thing. Did I catch that? I think I did. I've been written wrong for ages. I've not been keeping track of time at all. But that's how much fun we've been having. I'm going to leave that there, because I'll get confused if I place a block there and don't place a block above it. I'm going to get very confused. So I'm going to head back down, and I'm going to say thanks so much for watching. Do hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. Come visit neilfdyson.com. We'll also have links in the video description. And until we meet again, dig for victory.